Welcome to this review of Oxfordshire's football over the weekend of the 13th to 14th of December with Patrick Locke and Colin Ryde. Now, it wasn't a good weekend results-wise for me because my hometown club, Southampton, lost 2-1 away at Norwich. Oxford United also lost 2-1 at home to Preston North End. Not too bad a result for Southampton. They come to Oxford United on Boxing Day, but that loss for Oxford United saw them slide into the Championship relegation zone. So dodgy times there up at the Kassam Stadium. Meanwhile, after a really rip-roaring success last Saturday, Patrick, Oxford City had no game. So what were you doing on Saturday? Were you doing your Christmas shopping, sir, or something else equally useful?
I had a really boring Saturday and I laid on the sofa for most of it, if I'm totally honest.
Oh, okay.
Although I did go out for a run.
Oh, okay.
About 3 o'clock. So I did do something at 3 o'clock. But otherwise, I lay on the sofa and had a properly chilled out Saturday.
That's very rare for you, though, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. It's probably the first Saturday. Well, it is the first Saturday since early August, really, that I've probably not been following football of some sort. So, yeah, it was nice in a way to kind of just have a Saturday off football, I guess. But
okay, I reckon now you're a mortgaged man. I reckon you're getting a bit old, So, but you were sat there with your slippers and things there, and you were guilty thinking you should go out for a run at 3 o'clock. Just did a tinge of guilt there. But anyway, well done to you. So we're going out for a run.
I think you're definitely right, because I did the same. I was planning to go for a run when I got home this evening. Thought, oh, it's dark and wet. I can't be bothered for that. I'm just going to stay in and just stay in the warm.
All right, so Banbury United, they were in action, though. They picked up a point in a goalless draw at Needham Market to stay 12th, Patrick.
Yeah, and to be honest, I don't think there's much to add to what you've already said. It wasn't a particularly thrilling game by all accounts. It gave a few chances, as Kelvin Langmead said in his interview. But we reported last week it was that they had a loss at Redditch United. So it was an important point for them they got against Needham Market. So, we can hear from Kelvin Langmead now. Perhaps not quite so pleased that there wasn't many chances in the game, but he was pleased that his team got a point.
A game of few chances, wasn't it? So look, let's look at the positives. It's a point on the board. Really pleased with a clean sheet. More minutes into more lads. We hadn't been great over the last couple of games. I think we were much better today. Needham, look, they're a good side. They're a hard-working side. They make it difficult for you. They're really well organised, and then they have a threat as well. They have a couple of quick boys out wide who cause us a few problems. But we've got Monday, so there's no point being too down and disappointed with it. It wasn't a great game, no, but a clean sheet and a point, and I'll never not be happy with points on the board.
In games like that, and you must have played in games like that occasionally, is it a case of as long as you don't lose it, I suppose you've achieved something?
Yeah, and look, that has been the mentality actually, probably since the start of November, was, when we were coming off the back of the bad run, was we do not lose these games. You go into the game and that is the priority, we do not lose. And actually, it meant we ended up winning more games. That's still the case, and it was sort of a bit of the message at half time, like, concentrate, we do not lose this game. It was always going to be a game where maybe, certainly going into the second half, one chance would probably win the game, because it was just a bit of a stalemate. But like I say, overall, it's a point on the board. It's a far better performance than we have done over the last couple of games. And it's a really good point if you go and get some at Barwell. That's the thing, I know that you're at home, you want to win the game, but it would be a fantastic point if you're going to do something decent at Barwell on Monday.
How much does that factor into the thinking when probably a goal either way is going to decide it? Does that, and you as a player, when you were a player, does it come into your thinking a little bit and make it, you mentioned the word stalemate, that much more of a stalemate, because there's the feeling that you can't really afford to make a mistake.
And it would probably have been a mistake that maybe won our team the game. So it's just concentration, isn't it, then? Making sure that you do the basics really, really well. Don't be the one that makes that mistake that might cost your team. Just make sure you take care of your business, you're concentrating, you're getting onto others around you to make sure they're doing the same. You defend set pieces well. You move up the pitch as a unit so it doesn't get too spread. But like I say, it was a stalemate. And, like I say, it's a point on the board, so I'll take it.
So what would you assess as being the positives and maybe the negatives from this game that you'd look at?
Well, clean sheet is always a huge positive. The fact we were better, far better than the last two performances, again, is another positive. Negative was that we didn't really lay a glove. We didn't create many chances, which we have players that should and can do that. So that's obviously something for us to look at. I suppose it's a home game, isn't it? You look into the home games, whoever you're playing, you're on your patch, you want to go and take it to them. So we did press a little bit more today. We didn't just sit back. We wanted to go after them a little bit because I felt the last two games in the second half, when we did that, we were actually better. So I wanted to be like that from word go. It was important we started the game well. We didn't start it well at Redditch. We didn't start it well at Stamford. It was really important that we didn't give any silly goals away early on, and that we maybe grew into the game. But like I say, it was it was very much a step three kind of game, and this league's a bit like that, where it's the team who really turns up on the day can go and win. You'll see some of the results today. I'm sure there's a little few surprises. There is every week because it is such a close league and it is what it is. And like I say, if you can bring that little bit of quality, the chances are you'll go on and win the game.
In terms of your squad, you've got a young lad in, Harrison Bradney from Oxford United. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, well, he's a huge prospect for them over there. The opportunity came up and it just sort of timed nicely, really. Luke's struggling a little bit with his hamstring as well, so it just felt like we have to manage a couple of the others as well, that we needed to add a body into the squad, and he fits the bill perfectly. He comes really highly recommended, so hopefully he'll, I'm sure he will get minutes over the next few games.
And as you heard in that interview, a mere 48 hours after that draw, Banbury United were away at Barwell, and unfortunately they lost 1-0 there on Monday evening. Thame United fought out a 2-2 draw away at Ware, and Ware seemed to not like teams that come from Oxfordshire, because I think Didcot had a good record against them. Thame just couldn't get one more goal to get the one over on them, but 2-2 draw. I expect they'll be quite happy with that away at Ware, won't they, Patrick?
Yeah, you're right. And just going back to that about them playing Didcot, Didcot beat them in the playoff final back in about 2021, probably.
Yeah, 21-22, yeah.
And that was a year after Ware got beaten by North Lee in the playoff final. So, yeah, I think they probably don't particularly like going to Oxfordshire clubs, and continued a little bit this week. We spoke about Thame's 9-goal thriller they had last week, where they beat... they won 6-3, and they were 2-0 down to Ware after just 20 minutes, and a goal just before half-time from Harry Alexander got them back in it, and then Alexander again scored one in the final 5 minutes to help Thame get a point there. So, yeah, really important result there, and Thame certainly in the goals in the last couple of weeks and getting some big results.
Now then, we've had Daz King on the programme before as a guest. Normally he's the man who does the post-match interviews with Jamie Heapy down at Didcot Town. They normally do come out, good, bad or ugly game. I think this is a bit of an ugly game. They lost 4-0 at home on Saturday, and there's no post-match interview because I think it was a bit of an awkward game, wasn't it, Patrick, by all accounts?
Yeah, I think probably the less said about it, the better, to be honest. And they lost 4-0, 3 goals coming in the second half there, and continues their bit of a topsy-turvy season they've had, where they seem to have a really good record in the far away games, don't they? They've picked up a few points in those long trips, but at home they've suffered a few painful defeats, but still outside the relegation zone as it stands, and still plenty of time left, so plenty of time to pick up a few wins.
Okay, so what else happened last weekend in steps 5 and 6, Patrick, and also in the women's games at the weekend?
Yeah, so we'll start combined counties as always. Ardley United have been knocked off the top of the combined counties north, but again, they didn't play this weekend. So there's a few weekends in a row they've not played. They have 4 games in hand now to Broadfield United, who have taken over the top of the league, and they're just a point ahead of Ardley United. So, plenty of games for Ardley United to restore their lead at the top there. All our other sides were in action this week, though, in that division. 3 draws and a defeat for those. Abingdon United, they shared 6 goals with Burnham at the North Court. 2 goals from Freddie Dunham and another from Leo Cole saw them, helped them to that point. Kidlington and Milton United both had 1-1 draws at home. Kidlington drew with Ashford Town Middlesex, while an Ollie Nadden goal saw Milton United draw with British Airways. Elsewhere, though, a 97th minute goal saw Wallingford and Crowmarsh defeated at Wokingham Town. Ewan Aitchison scored in the first minute for Wallingford, and then Aidan Higgs grabbed an equaliser with 10 minutes to play, but sadly not enough as they conceded in added time to be defeated there. In United Counties and Easington Sports, they were defeated 2-1 at Nuneaton Town. And Reuben Wade scored for Easington Sports in the first 10 minutes, but Nuneaton scored twice to see them win there. Hellenic Division 1, just a couple of league games involving our sides. I better define that because there's a few cup games coming up in a second. Carson, another huge 1-0 win, following up their 1-0 win from last weekend. They played FC Stratford's. While Thame United reserves scored 3 times in the first 20 minutes, but were ultimately defeated 4-3 at home by Wellington. So a bit of a goal fest there. Elsewhere in the cups, and that's a very, very rare defeat for Wantage Town, who we seem to be talking about huge wins every week. They were defeated 2-1 at home by Stonehouse Town in the Hellenic Challenge Cup. In the Supplementary Challenge Cup, Clanfield were beaten 2-1 at home by Hungerford Town Reserves, while Easington Sports Development lost 4-2 to Woodford Town. Women's FA Cup and Oxfordshire United women, they're having a proper good run in that this season. They hosted Plymouth Argyle in the third round this weekend, and they trailed 15 minutes in through a Plymouth Argyle goal, but 2 goals in the final 10 minutes saw Oxfordshire United with a dramatic path through to the 4th round. Ruby Seeley scored on 86 minutes before Emma Thompson scored a 95th minute winner to see the U's through.
Now then, Oxford United ladies' reward for beating Plymouth Argyle is a home draw against Middlesbrough LFC in the 4th round of the FA Women's Cup, to be held on the 18th of January at 1 o'clock.
And just to finish off, a couple of league games. Abingdon United picked up a big win. They beat Bournemouth Sports 4-2 at the North Court. Lauren May, Molly Jackson and Mimi Hodges scored within a 10-minute period in the first half, inside 30 minutes, with Holly Selwood getting a 4th in the second half to seal an important win there. Oxford City's 2025 ended in defeat, however, sadly. Obviously covered them a fair bit in recent weeks of their FA Cup run. Just started to play a few league games and get a bit of form, but sadly their trip to Sholing ended in defeat. Captain Billy Bow French scored the goal for the Hoops in that 3-1 defeat there. Yeah, so that's what happened over the last weekend, Colin.
Right, we've got a bit of a dodgy week weather-wise coming up, so I'm just hoping that the games won't be called off. But weather permitting, Mr. Patrick Locke, what have Oxfordshire fans got to look forward to as you give them their fixture focus for the coming weekend, sir?
Yeah, so Oxford United obviously spoke about their tough times in recent weeks. They've got a trip to Charlton Athletic in the Championship on Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff at the Valley. Oxford City, they've got one of their longest trips of the season the weekend before Christmas. They head up to Spennymoor Town, although I have to say it was a reverse of the last season where Spennymoor made the trip to Oxford the week before Christmas. So, probably... City paying for that. Banbury United, though, they're at home on Saturday. They host Stratford Town in the Southern League Premier Central. Didcot Town are on the road, slightly more local, but not saying much for their recent trips. They head to Malvern Town in Division 1 South. And finally, in Division 1 Central, Thame United have a much more local away game. They head a couple of junctions down the M40 to Marlow in that division. On Sunday, well... there is no football on Sunday. All of our women's sides have finished for 2025, so no games there, and they will all return to action on Sunday, January the 4th.
So where are you going to be on Saturday? Are you going to be on your sofa again, sofa surfing, going out for a run, or are you going to go and watch a bit of football?
However much I'd love to, I don't think I can justify a long trip up to Spennymoor the weekend before Christmas. Did it last year, 4.5 hours each way if the traffic is nice. So the weekend before Christmas, the roads will probably be a lot busier. So probably won't make the trip there. Not really decided yet at this stage.
All right.
Maybe go out and find a local football game. Probably depends on the weather, though, to be honest. Depends on my Christmas shopping as well. Depends if I've still got some urgent last-minute bits to get off Amazon or something.
Okay, well, there is plenty of good football to look forward to in Oxfordshire this coming weekend. Get out there, please. Do support your local non-league sides. For time, you know, for myself, Colin Ryan and Patrick Locke, that's it for this week with our review of Oxfordshire's football the last weekend. If you'd like your club to feature on this podcast or on our YouTube show that live streams every Thursday at 8 o'clock, then drop us a line at oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com. That's oxsportsunleashed, all one word, @gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for listening, and bye for now.